Heartwarming moment. Millionaire's paralyzed son rescued from tears by unexpected kindness of a single mother. Michael stood in the bustling community center, the smell of fresh popcorn filling the air, clashing with the bittersweet taste of regret on his tongue. His heart ached as he watched Jason from a distance, his son's wheelchair parked amidst a sea of laughter and camaraderie. Just months prior, Jason was a vibrant high school senior with dreams of college basketball, but now the world felt unbearably heavy. The accident transformed everything. The vibrant colors of Jason's former life muted into gray. Michael, a self-made millionaire at 48, felt helpless. He had the resources to offer the best of everything, the finest therapies, the latest technology, but nothing seemed to alleviate the sorrow locked within Jason's dark, brooding eyes. "Hey, Dad," Jason muttered, barely looking up from his phone. A wave of silence washed over Michael. He could see the anger simmering just beneath the surface. The privilege that had offered them safety felt like a chain dragging them deeper into darkness. "Let's get through this, son," Michael managed to say, forcing a smile that felt hollow in his chest. Just then, the sound of cheers erupted as a spirited group of volunteers wheeled in fresh banners emblazoned with motivational quotes. But the energy around him felt foreign, like a vibrant painting in a black and white world. His heart raced. The looming charity event felt like his last shot at rekindling any semblance of connection with Jason. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The event kicked off with athletes with disabilities showcasing their talents, their determination blazing like fiery comets across the arena. It was here that Michael met Sarah, a single mother juggling multiple jobs, who radiated warmth and tenacity. Her daughter bounced around, a small bundle of joy underfoot. As Sarah engaged Jason in genuine conversation about basketball and dreams, both theirs and her daughter's, a flicker of light sparked in his eyes. "Who cares about the money?" she joked lightly, a knowing smile tugging at her lips as Jason hesitated before cracking a small grin. "You've got something a lot richer, heart." That comment lingered in the air like sweet perfume, igniting something deep within both father and son. Just when they found their rhythm, a scandal erupted, a leak about mismanagement of funds at the charity. Michael felt that tightness in his chest as whispers surrounded him, haunting words like privilege and inequities. What had he built his life on? In those fleeting moments, he grasped the uncomfortable truth of entitlement that had shrouded his family in a bubble, shielding them from the struggles Sarah faced daily. As Jason observed his father grappling with shame, he suddenly understood the reflection of his own pain mirrored in Michael's eyes. The desire for connection ignited within him, if only to find common ground amidst the chaos. With hearts poised on the brink of transformation, they stood silently, absorbing what was shared between them, the yearning to bridge an unintentional chasm born of tragedy. The glow of the charity event dimmed, but the flicker of hope illuminated the dusk. An unexpected encounter awaited at the edge of their fractured lives, ready to challenge everything they thought they understood about family, empathy, and the value of compassion. As whispers of discontent simmered in the background, Michael blinked hard, forcing himself to focus on Jason. His son was still watching Sarah and her daughter, a ghost of a smile lingering at the corners of his mouth. What if he could reach Jason, even if just for a moment? Suddenly, the charity event felt lighter, as if a breeze had swept through to carry away some of the heaviness. "Want to take a walk?" Michael asked, surprising even himself with the eagerness in his voice. Jason glanced up, surprise etched on his face, but then, after a heartbeat's hesitation, he nodded. The tension crackled in the air as they maneuvered in their shared space, making their way towards a quieter corner of the community center. Michael could feel the weight of judgment in each step. Yet something lifted inside him too, buoyed by the chance to connect with Jason, his son, who had been a stranger lately. "Dad," do you really think all that money can fix this? Jason asked haltingly, the question spilling out in the crisp air between them. Michael felt his heart lurch. I don't know, son, he replied honestly. I thought it could make things easier, help you find your way back. But I see now. His voice trailed off. Words caught in his throat. The soft laughter of children floated from the other side of the venue, where Sarah's daughter played with other kids. A visual reminder of innocence lost, Michael felt a pang of longing mixed with resolve. He wanted Jason to see that hope still existed, that dreams didn't have to fade entirely. Do you remember that time at the beach? Michael offered, hoping to ignite a spark of shared memory. You splashed everyone, and we couldn't stop laughing? Jason's brow furrowed as he fought against the memories swirling around. Yeah, I remember. You kept trying to stay dry. A small smile flickered across his face, the first real gleam of brightness Michael had seen in what felt like years. Yes. I was completely soaked. Michael laughed, his heart lightening. And then you challenged me to race, remember? Yeah, and you lost, Jason replied, his voice barely above a whisper but colored with a faint hint of amusement. Maybe I could use a rematch someday, Michael suggestively offered, yearning to reignite Jason's spark for competition. But Jason's smile faded, weight settling back on his shoulders. It isn't the same, Dad. Michael nodded, 1,000 words unspoken between them. Yes, it wasn't the same, nothing ever would be. Yet it didn't need to end here. Something had shifted today, a flicker of connection that might just grow into a flame. In that moment, Sarah and her daughter approached. Hey, you two. Just finished up some balloon art. Jason, want to join us? The invitation felt like the small threads of community weaving them back together. Jason looked at his father, a question in his eyes. Michael understood. Go ahead. I'll be right here. As Jason slowly wheeled toward Sarah, an unexpected wave of warmth surged within Michael. Maybe the flickers of hope were more than just bright moments, perhaps, together they could chart a path through this fog of despair, but as laughter echoed around them, uncertainty still loomed large. Would they be able to maintain this fragile connection in the coming days? Michael peeked at Jason, contemplating the bond they were forging, yet a gnawing fear tugged at his insides. Could they hold on to this sense of hope, or was it just a fleeting flame in the dark? Michael swallowed hard, watching his son begin to smile again, longing for the courage to reach deeper into understanding. The questions weighed heavily as they progressed forward, the sanctuary of the event proving just as fragile as their renewed connection. They soon discover how closely tied their healing journeys might be. Michael watched as Jason joined Sarah and her daughter. Their laughter floated back to him like music, reminding him of how alive moments like these could feel. He longed to hold on to this sliver of happiness, but shadows still lurked in the corners of his mind, whispering doubts about whether this was real or just a temporary escape. He wandered towards the refreshment table, filling a cup with water, but the coolness did little to soothe the anxious heat in his chest. Just a few weeks ago, he had felt closed off, surrounded by people but utterly alone. Today, for the first time in a while, a flicker of hope ignited, a hope that he could share more laughs, more moments with Jason. It wasn't just a desire to reconnect, it was a desperate need. As he sipped the water, he caught snippets of the conversation between the children. Sarah's daughter, with her golden curls bouncing, was explaining how to make a balloon animal, her voice bright and unrestrained. Jason listened, eyes wide with curiosity again, a sight that warmed Michael's heart. See? Look at him, a voice interrupted his reverie. It was Sarah, standing beside him with a smile that lit up her graceful features. He's really starting to open up. You must be proud. I am, Michael admitted, his voice thick with emotion. I hope we can keep this connection going. It's a journey. Sarah's tone shifted to something softer, more thoughtful. Sometimes the simplest things mean the most. Just being there matters. Michael nodded, a wave of gratitude washing over him. He wanted her to know how much her support meant, not just to him, but to Jason. They both stood together, watching the children bond through laughter and playful chaos. When Jason returned, a bright blue balloon dog clutched tight in his fist. His smile was infectious. "Look, Dad." He beamed, holding it up like a trophy. "I made this." "That's amazing," Michael replied, genuinely excited. "Can it do tricks?" "Of course," Jason said, imitation earnestness sprawled across his face. "It can fly, juggle, and even do math." Michael chuckled, heart swelling with pride. "Maybe you can train it to help with your homework." The three of them shared a laugh, and in that moment, it felt like the noise from the charity event faded into the background. For the first time in ages, Michael perceived a new dimension to their interactions, a realm where joy could still exist, but as the light-hearted atmosphere drifted, a darkness loomed beneath, coiling around his thoughts. What if the heaviness returned? What if this was just a brief interlude before the next storm? "Hey, can we talk?" Jason caught him off guard, pulling him aside into a quieter corner. The younger boy's smile had dimmed, replaced by an uncertainty that sent a chill through Michael. "Of course, what's on your mind?" Michael's pulse quickened. Was he about to shatter the delicate moment they had just built? "I've been thinking about us, about everything. Sometimes it feels like a lot. I think I want to do more, but," Jason's voice cracked slightly, discomfort creeping in, "I don't know where to start." Michael's heart raced. Could this be the breakthrough he had dreamt of? "Whatever it is, we can face it together," he reassured gently, waiting for his son to share the burden, but instead, Jason's gaze shifted, uncertainty clouding his features again. "I just wish things were different." Michael placed a hand on Jason's shoulder, a grounding gesture. "So do I." He took a deep breath, the reality of their situation engaging him fully. They were both navigating an uncertain terrain, and together they could find a way through it, yet, as Jason stepped back, silence hung between them. That underlying fear seeped into Michael's thoughts. What if they couldn't bridge the distance? How could they transform these shared moments into lasting change without falling back into their past? With Jason lost in thought, Michael couldn't shake the feeling that this was a pivotal moment for both of them. Would this be the beginning of something new, or the return of their old struggles? As the event unwound around them, the question lingered, aching for answer. As Jason's silence deepened, Michael felt the weight of unspoken words pressing down on them. The energy of the event buzzed around them, yet here, in this little corner, the air crackled with uncertainty. It was a difficult mix between the comfort of the laughter he had just shared and the dread of what might still lie ahead. "Sometimes," Jason began, looking down at his balloon dog, his voice small, "I feel like I don't know how to have fun anymore. Like, I want to be like them." He gestured towards the children still playing, lost in their bubbles of happiness. "But it's hard." The vulnerability in his son's confession struck Michael like a punch to the gut. He could see the conflict swirling in Jason's eyes, a blend of hope and hesitation that struck too close to home. "I understand, buddy. It's tough to feel that way sometimes. But you know what? You're not alone in this." Jason met his father's gaze, the flicker of emotion there almost catching Michael off guard. "What if I never get better?" the boy said, the fear raw in his voice. "What if I don't know how to feel like I used to?" Michael knelt down, bringing himself closer to Jason's level. "You're already getting better, Jason. Just look at today, at how you made friends and created that awesome balloon dog. Every little step counts." His heart raced as he recalled his own struggles, the moments when he felt lost and uncertain. And it's okay to not have all the answers right now. But even as he said those words, a thought echoed in Michael's mind: was it enough? They both needed to heal, but how did they bridge the chasm of emotion that lay between them? What if this conversation didn't lead to the answers Jason sought? "I want to help you more." His voice was firm, but inside, he felt a twinge of doubt. "Let's make a plan together. We can start small, maybe some activities you enjoy?" Jason's brow furrowed, deep in thought. Like what? Let's start with something you love. What's one thing you've always wanted to do but felt too nervous about? The boy paused, looking towards the other kids. I used to love playing soccer, but I feel like I'd be a burden now. Burden? Michael shook his head, determined to pull Jason back from the edge of that thought. You're not a burden. You're my son, and I want to see you thrive. We can find a way to adjust, a way for you to play however you feel comfortable. Jason's eyes sparkled slightly. Maybe I could try? The tentative smile creeping back warmed Michael's heart. Just then, they were interrupted by laughter. Sarah's daughter ran toward them, her golden curls bouncing with energy. Jason. Come help me. We're making a volcano out of soda and candy. It will explode. Without thinking, Jason's face broke into a full grin, and the tension from moments before melted away. Can I? He asked his dad, excitement bubbling through his voice. Absolutely. Go have fun. Michael waved him off, suddenly feeling lighter. As Jason bounded away, Michael watched him go, the weight of their earlier conversation lingering. There was hope flickering at the edges, something he couldn't ignore. But as he turned to find Sarah, a familiar face drifted into his view, someone from the past he hadn't seen in years. The warmth he felt seconds ago turned cold in an instant. Would this reunion put their fragile connection at risk? Michael took a step back, heartbeat quickening. What would this mean for him and Jason? The laughter abruptly faded, leaving an uneasy silence in its wake. Would he have to face yet another storm? The familiar face came closer, and Michael's heart sank. It was Rick, an old college friend turned successful businessman. The kind of success that turned heads at parties, the kind that Michael always felt overshadowed by. Memories flickered like an old film reel, highlighting late-night study sessions and laughter. But now, that laughter felt far away, dulled by years and choices. Michael. Rick called, his smile wide, genuine but disconcerting. Long time no see. How have you been? His voice had that smooth confidence, the type one would expect from someone who had conquered the world. Michael hesitated, scanning Rick's face for any sign of understanding, any recognition of the struggles he faced. I've been all right, Michael replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Just enjoying the day. And you? Oh, Rick waved his hand dismissively, business is booming. Got 2 kids now, keeping me busy. And where's your son? Michael pointed toward Jason, who was fully absorbed in the chaos of kids bursting soda bottles, candy flying like confetti through the air. The sight made Michael's heart swell, but he couldn't ignore the flicker of judgment in Rick's eyes. It felt as if he was being measured, assessed against some imagined standard. He's having a little fun, Michael replied, trying to sound nonchalant, but feeling the weight of vulnerability gnawing at him. Good to see he's okay, Rick said. Kids grow up fast. Mine are already asking for cell phones. There was a slight chuckle, but it felt hollow, more like an attempt at bridging an uncomfortable silence. Michael shifted in place, wrestling with memories of their time together. Yeah, Jason he's been going through a rough patch. Just trying to support him and figure things out. Rick's expression softened for a moment, but then he resumed his bravado. Kids can be a handful. Tell him to join a sports club. It really helps with confidence. Actually, he mentioned wanting to play soccer again, Michael said, finding his voice steadier. We're taking it slow. Slow, huh? That's interesting, Rick replied, arching an eyebrow. Some say kids need to be pushed. He gave a little shrug, as if dismissing Michael's approach as misguided. The smile faded from Michael's face, and something dark stirred inside him. Was this how it felt now? As if everything he did, including how he raised Jason, was laid bare to scrutiny? But just then, Jason turned to face them, still holding his balloon dog, laughter erupting as the soda volcano sprayed sugary eruptions. For a brief moment, all the tension shattered like glass. Dad. You have to see this, Jason shouted, his voice bright and animated. The pure delight on his face cut through any uncertainty that connected him to Rick. Michael felt a warmth fill his heart, settling over fears like a soft blanket. He walked towards Jason, leaving Rick momentarily forgotten. What's going on over there? In that moment, something shifted within Michael. The laughter and joy of his son became the only measure of success that mattered. Rick's opinions felt blurred in the background. As he kneeled next to Jason, inhaling the sweet scent of candy soda fizz, a sense of clarity washed over him, yet, above the giggles, the sensation that something lingered behind him couldn't be shaken. As Jason pulled him into the moment, he caught a glimpse of Rick, staring with a look of contemplation. Would he truly ever get support from those who didn't understand? Could anyone really grasp the bond between them? The warmth of Jason's laughter contrasted sharply against that chill in the air. Michael tried to focus, but the unease wouldn't let him go. Just as he turned to speak, Rick's voice broke through. I didn't realize how much pressure you've put on yourself, Mike. Have you thought about? The words trailed off, heavy with insinuation. What was coming next? Michael's stomach twisted as he sensed the unspoken weight in Rick's unfinished sentence. It felt like a tightrope walk. Was he talking about pushing Jason harder in sports or something deeper? The shadows of their past loomed large, where comparisons felt like a knife edge. And as he turned slowly, the vibrant chaos of the party faded into a low murmur. Jason, blissfully unaware of the tension between them, started energetically pointing at the exploding soda like it was a magical fountain. Dad, watch. It's like a volcano. For a heartbeat, Michael got lost in the laughter, the colorful chaos, and the innocent joy radiating from his son. He felt a flicker of hope as Jason squealed and slipped in a puddle of soda, but instead of fear, laughter burst forth. It was pure, uncontrolled joy, and it wrapped around Michael, easing his anxious heart. See? He's just being a kid, Rick said, his tone softening, almost wistful. Guess that's what it's all about. I forget sometimes. Michael looked up, surprise flickering across his face. Was Rick trying to connect? He caught a glimpse of something unguarded in Rick's eyes. But then Rick shrugged, almost as if shaking off any nostalgia. You know, after college, I put everything into my career. Maybe I should have focused more on connection, not just ambition. The honesty surprised Michael. Yeah, I think many of us get caught up in that, he agreed, feeling the weight of Rick's words. The recognition settled in. They were both navigating parenting in their own ways, even if theirs were worlds apart. Suddenly, Jason was back at his side, pants soaked and face beaming. Dad, that was the coolest. Can we do more? Can we? All right, let us get a balloon. Michael said, his spirit lifted. He straightened to reach for his wallet, but Rick's gentle voice interrupted. Why don't I get it? I'm already here, right? Michael hesitated, a strange mix of gratitude and hesitation coursing through him. Are you sure? Absolutely. Just let me treat you and Jason. It's on me. The unexpected gesture threw Michael off balance. Maybe there was more beneath Rick's surface than purely business and bluster. Jason bounced on his toes, his excitement infectious. Can we, Dad? Sure, let us do it, Michael replied, tempted by this fleeting moment of camaraderie. The tension slowly dissipated, and the laughter of children filled the air again. As Rick headed towards the balloon stand, he paused and looked back. Hey, I know it's been rough for you with Jason. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. Michael nodded slowly, uncertainty and familiarity weaving together in that unguarded moment. Was it possible they could reconnect after all these years? Was this gesture the beginning of something different? Feeling an unexpected flicker of hope, Michael caught up with Jason. He watched his son, his heart warm with pride, and yet there was that little nagging question in the back of his mind. Could he really trust this new side of Rick? Jason's laughter erupted once more, drawing Michael's full attention. But as he turned to face his son, he couldn't shake off the thought, what challenges would they have to face next, and would Rick truly understand the journey ahead? Before he could dwell on it, a loud whoosh caught his attention as colorful balloons soared into the sky, disappearing into the wide blue above. For a brief moment, everything felt possible. But as he exhaled, a sinking truth lingered. Would Rick's support be genuine, or just another moment of empty promises in a life full of expectations? The weight of uncertainty surrounded him again. What lay ahead felt unpredictable, and yet Michael couldn't ignore the tug of hope. Would he find the strength to let someone back in, or would he retreat behind old walls? As the vibrant colors of the balloons faded into the afternoon sky, Michael felt a mix of warmth and apprehension. Jason tugged on his hand with a joyful shout, his face glowing with excitement. "Look, Dad. They're flying away like freedom." Michael smiled, the simple beauty of the moment wrapping around him. Yet a subtle unease lingered, like a storm cloud just beyond the horizon. He watched Jason skip toward the balloon stand as Rick chatted with the vendor. It was a small scene, but Michael's heart raced with a sense of impending change. "Here we go," Rick called, returning with 3 colorful balloons, a modest trio floating above them. "I thought we could get a blue one for Jason, and one for each of us. What do you think?" Jason's eyes sparkled, as if each balloon held the promise of adventure. "Yes. Blue is my favorite." Michael took a balloon, its texture smooth against his fingers. There was something symbolic about it, light, bright, and yet tethered to the ground. "Thanks, Rick. This is really nice." Rick waved it off, a slight blush creeping into his cheeks. "It's nothing, really. Just wanted to do something nice for you guys." Jason squeezed his balloon tightly, every shift of his weight a little reminder of the innocent joy that seemed to erase the unresolved tension of adulthood. Michael imagined what he could share with Jason and wished desperately to latch onto that joy. He felt a swift rush of gratitude toward Rick, but it left him wondering, could this be a new path for them? "Hey, do you remember when we used to?" Rick started, but his voice faltered, as if he suddenly realized the weight behind those memories. "Yeah, I remember," Michael replied, wanting to push the nostalgia away, fearing where it might lead. Instead, Jason squealed, pulling both men into the moment again, pointing at the face painting booth. "Can I get a tiger? Please, Dad?" "Of course. We're here for fun, right?" Michael replied, forcing a grin, even as his heart tightened. He could feel Rick watching, a hint of something unspoken brewing in the air. As they approached the booth, a little girl, paint smudged, eyes wide with excitement, held out her painted arm. "Look. I'm a butterfly." "Wow." Jason replied, his excitement palpable. "I want to be just like that." Michael's heart swelled at his son's enthusiasm. It was a reminder of the small victories that came with everyday life. "You should be. You'll look awesome, buddy." As the face painter began her work on Jason's face, Michael caught Rick's gaze. "You really seem to enjoy being around him," Rick said, a hint of sincerity in his voice, almost awestruck by Jason's joy. "Yeah, it's a wild ride every day," Michael replied, his sincerity surfacing. "What do you think he needs most? A dad who pushes him harder, or one who is there for him?" The question hung in the air, and Michael felt his palms clench. This was at the core of their existence. "Rick, I think it's about both. Life is a balance, and every kid deserves to feel safe and pushed at the same time." Rick nodded thoughtfully. "Right. I guess I've always leaned toward pushing too much sometimes." The conversation took a turn, heavier than the laughter around them, but there was an undercurrent of possibility. Maybe Rick really was trying to understand. Maybe they could navigate this path together. The painter stepped back, revealing Jason's bright-eyed transformation. "Look, Dad. I'm a tiger." Michael chuckled, amazed by the magic of the moment, but his heart still twisted with uncertainty. As joy radiated from Jason, he couldn't ignore feelings of doubt. Would their past influence their future? Could Rick truly change? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the carnival games nearby, shattering the moment. "Hang on!" Michael shouted, adrenaline kicking in. He turned instinctively toward the sound, a mix of curiosity and concern flooding his mind. Before he could take a step, Jason's excited voice rang out again. "Dad! Can we go see what that was?" Michael's heart raced as he considered their next move. Would they dive deeper into this carnival of challenges, or would it drag them into deeper waters than they'd ever wished to face? "Let's go check it out," he replied, both anxious and exhilarated as they headed toward the noise together. The carnival was alive, but were they ready for what lay ahead? As they approached the source of the sound, Michael felt Jason's tiny hand squeeze his. The boy's eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and curiosity, and yet Michael could sense the tension vibrating beneath the surface of their carefree outing. The carnival game area was a chaotic whirlwind of laughter and shouts, but now everyone's focus shifted toward a toppled display stand. A cluster of onlookers surrounded the fallen structure, whispering anxiously among themselves. The colorful prizes, a plush teddy bear, a bright blue frisbee, and a handful of balloons had spilled out like confetti, scattering across the ground. "What happened?" Jason asked, his voice barely above a whisper as they pushed through the crowd. Michael knelt beside him, careful to keep his tone calm. "Looks like someone might have bumped it. Let's take a look." As they moved closer, Michael spotted a teenager sitting on the ground, his face flushed with embarrassment. Nearby, a younger child sat, tears streaming down his cheeks. It was the boy who had dropped the prizes. "Hey, buddy," Jason called out to the crying child, his soft voice cutting through the murmurs of the crowd. "Why are you sad?" Michael watched as the boy looked up, wiping his tears with the sleeve of his shirt. "I wanted to win a prize, but I ruined it." The teenager sitting beside him shook his head, trying to console the boy. "It's not your fault. Let's just clean this up, and I'll help you pick something else, okay?" But the boy's gaze darted to the mess on the ground, his sobs turning into quiet whimpers. The moment was heavy with hurt, and Michael felt an urgency to step in, not just for Jason's sake but for the child's as well. "Hey," Michael said as he stepped forward, kneeling down to the boy's eye level. "You did your best, and it happens. How about I help you clean this up? Then we can find another game for you to play. What do you think?" The boy looked up, a flicker of hope lighting up his eyes. "You'd really help me?" "Of course," Michael replied with an encouraging smile. "We can make things right together." Jason's eyes widened as he beamed at his dad's kindness. "Yeah. We can all do it together." Through the teamwork of the three, they quickly began picking up the scattered items. Others in the crowd noticed and started to help, some picking up other fallen prizes, while others encouraged the little boy. It made the carnival feel brighter, unified even amidst the chaos. As they finished collecting the toys, the teenager leaned toward the boy, saying, "See? You're not alone. Everyone here wants to help." Eventually, the boy's tears dried up, replaced by shy smiles. "Thank you," he whispered as he looked at Michael and Jason. Now feeling invigorated by the moment, Michael turned to Rick, who had been watching quietly. "See? That's what it's about. It takes a village sometimes." Rick nodded, a flicker of admiration in his usually guarded demeanor. "You've always had a way with kids, Michael." But just as Michael felt a sense of community settle comfortably, a new noise erupted from the carnival's loudspeaker. "Attention! We have a special announcement." The unexpected announcement cut through the warmth they'd just built, and an uneasy tension washed over Michael like a cold wave. "What's that about?" Jason asked, eyes wide, pulling at Michael's sleeve. "I'm not sure, buddy," Michael replied, heart squeezing as he noticed Rick's expression changing. Something was coming, something that could shift the whole day. Before they could brace themselves for what lay ahead, voices began murmuring about a surprise that was about to change the festival forever. What kind of surprise? Michael mused, as unease danced in his gut. He steeled himself for whatever was coming, glancing at Jason's excited face. Maybe it would be a moment that turned their day around, or maybe it would pull them back into the storm they were trying to avoid. Let us go find out, he replied, his voice steadier than he felt inside as they made their way toward the sound. What awaited them at the festival could very well redefine everything they just built in a matter of seconds. The loudspeaker crackled again, and a voice with energy filled the air. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around for an exciting announcement. We have a special surprise for you today. Michael felt a knot tighten in his stomach. The last thing he wanted was another disruption. Jason, oblivious to his father's unease, was bouncing on his toes, a grin plastered on his face. Did you hear that, Dad? A surprise? Jason exclaimed, eyes shining. Yeah, I heard, Michael replied, forcing a smile as he glanced at Rick. Rick bit his lip, and a shadow of worry crossed his features. As they approached the stage, a crowd began to form, and the excitement buzzed in the air. Michael could see colorful streamers flying in every direction, and children clutched their parents' hands, eager for the reveal. The atmosphere pulsed with anticipation. Today, we are hosting a remarkable contest called the Throw of a Lifetime. The announcer's voice rang out proudly, and Jason squeezed Michael's hand even tighter. One lucky winner will have the chance to win a scholarship for an entire year at Summit Sports Academy. That's right. It's a chance for anyone, any age, to show off their aim. Gasps erupted from the crowd, and Jason bounced again. Can I do it? I want to try. Michael's heart pounded. It was wonderful, but the stakes felt overwhelming. What if Jason didn't win? What if he tried, and it ended in disappointment? Let us wait and see, Michael said gently, kneeling to look at Jason. It's just a game, buddy. There'll be more chances, right? But I want to be brave like you, Dad. You helped the kid with the toys. I can help people, too. Jason's determination was infectious, but Michael's chest tightened with the weight of potential failure. Rick chimed in, it could be fun, Mike. How about we let him try? The father's heart softened at this, yet he still hesitated. He had seen the beauty in helping someone else, but throwing a ball in front of a group felt different. What if Jason's courage faltered when put on the spot? As the announcer raised the stakes, Michael forced himself to breathe. Okay, let us just take it one step at a time. You can line up and see what happens. No pressure, all right? Jason beamed, unknowing of his father's worry. He pulled away and dashed toward the line forming at the makeshift throwing range. A mix of dread and pride filled Michael's heart as he observed Jason eager and undeterred in his pursuit. Look at him go, Rick said, chuckling softly. Michael's gaze followed Jason, a knot of emotions swirling. Did he believe in Jason enough? He needed to, not just because he was his son, but because this was a lesson in bravery. Maybe it's more than just a game, Michael murmured, shifting his stance as cheers erupted when a child landed a perfect throw. Just as the nervousness began to recede, a piercing scream sliced through the air, echoing over the buzz of the crowd. A mother's frantic shouts for her child had everyone's heads turning. The previous warmth dissipated, replaced by confusion and fear. What's happening? Jason shouted, eyes wide with concern as he rushed back to Michael's side. Stay here with Rick, okay? I need to see what's wrong, Michael instructed gently, his protective instincts kicking in. With urgency in his steps, he pushed through the throng of startled faces. The scene unfolded ahead, and Michael's heart raced, wondering if this interruption would be the kind that left a mark, not unlike the earlier moments of kindness. But as the crowd parted, he caught sight of something unexpected. A little girl stood trembling, lost and alone, eyes darting around searching desperately. Hold on. Michael called, moving faster. We're here to help. But the enormous pressure of the unfolding moments tightened around his chest. Was this the beginning of a new chapter or an end to the day's hope? As Michael rushed through the crowd, adrenaline coursed through him. He spotted the girl with tangled hair and tear-streaked cheeks, her small hands fidgeting in an effort to wipe away her fear. Panic danced in her eyes, and Michael's heart ached at the sight. "It's okay, sweetheart," he called out gently as he reached her, kneeling to meet her gaze. "I'm here." "What's your name?" "Lily," she whispered, a tremor in her voice. "Lily? I'm Michael. You're safe now. Can you tell me what happened?" His own shaking heart echoed the tremor in her voice, knowing they needed to act fast. "I got separated from my mom," she hiccuped, her little breaths coming in fast bursts. "I can't find her." Michael's heart sank. Losing sight of a parent in a crowded place wasn't just terrifying, it felt like being adrift in a storm without a life vest. He wrapped an arm around Lily, offering comforting warmth against her distress. "Don't worry, we'll find her," he promised. "Let's call out for her together." With that, he cupped his hands around his mouth. "Lily's mom. If you can hear me, we're looking for you." The crowd hummed in stillness, taking in the scene. It wasn't long before a frantic voice pierced through the sound of desperation mixed with relief. "Lily. Where are you?" "Mom!" Lily cried, her little voice breaking into a brilliant smile. She bolted towards the source of the sound, and Michael watched as a woman rushed into the open, her relief palpable. They collided, mother and daughter enveloped in an embrace that spoke words of searing love and joy. Michael felt the air fill with warmth again, a shared victory igniting hope in the hearts of those around. Jason pushed through the crowd then, his eyes wide as he witnessed the reunion. "You did it, Dad!" he exclaimed, practically bouncing on his feet. "You helped her." Michael straightened, realizing the joy radiating from Jason's bright face was a reflection of the good they could still find together. "We did it together, Bud," he replied, his heart swelling with pride. As the mother thanked him profusely, Michael turned to see Rick stepping forward, a newfound admiration in his stance. "That was incredible, Mike," Rick breathed, almost awestruck. "You didn't even hesitate." The acknowledgement hung in the air, palpable and connecting. Could it be that the lessons learned today would linger longer than the fleeting moments of chaos? Just then, something shifted in Michael. Seeing Jason's eager smile, the warmth of connection, and the triumph of kindness illuminated something deep within him. Lily needed more than just help, he said, finding conviction in his voice. She needed someone to remind her that no one is ever truly alone, not even in the darkest moments. Rick studied him, a newfound respect glimmering in his eyes. "You're right. That's the kind of support kids really need." As they stood together, watching the blissful chaos of the carnival return, Michael felt the threads of transformation tugging at the edges of their fears. They were slowly weaving a newer understanding of family, community, and hope. Maybe this carnival wasn't just a backdrop of laughter and games. Maybe it was the new foundation for the family Michael so desperately wanted to build. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue over the festival, Jason pulled at his balloon, his face painted like a fierce tiger, exuberance spilling from him as his laughter filled the air. "Dad. Can we give one to that little boy later? The one who cried?" "Of course, buddy. It's the perfect way to share our happiness," Michael said, feeling a sense of clarity wash over him. As they walked toward the next adventure, a small act of kindness illuminating the path before them, Michael glanced at Rick. "Let us all learn from today. We can support one another in being better dads too," he suggested, a brightness in his eyes that hadn't been there before. "Absolutely," Rick replied, a resolve forming in his voice. "This is the start of something we never knew we needed." Together, they ventured deeper into the carnival, hearts light and brimming with the possibility of transformation. Michael held Jason's hand tightly, watching the wonder in his son's eyes, knowing this moment was just the beginning of weaving new threads of connection and healing. In the warmth of fellowship, Michael finally felt the shadows begin to ebb away. He didn't know what challenges lay ahead, but he felt an immense assurance their journey together was worth every step taken. As the laughter floated like confetti through the air, Michael realized they had already begun to reclaim the lost colors of their lives, an unbreakable bond flourishing amidst the vibrant chaos. This was it. This was the moment he had dreamed of, fully alive, standing together with Jason, ready to embrace life's beautiful, intricate dance. Don't miss out on the next part of Michael and Jason's journey. You need to subscribe now to our channel. Leave a like, it fuels our passion and helps us reach others who need to hear these stories. Comment your feelings on this heartwarming conclusion. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Everything counts in supporting our mission to spread hope and healing.